Hello everybody and welcome to Morzak EV, a channel dedicated to all things electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging and all related technologies. So today we're going to be covering some of those related technologies in terms of portable batteries which offer 250 volt outlets. So you can think of these as sort of replacing something like a petrol generator. Can be used for things like camping. So we have a couple of different models here. We have the EcoFlow Delta Mini, we have the EcoFlow Delta 2 battery, the EcoFlow Delta 2 Extra Smart Battery, which is an extension to this battery, and then we have the 160 watt solar panels which can be used to power any of the EcoFlow devices. So big thanks to my good friend Robert Lewis who provided these two brand new batteries. So we're going to unbox them for the first time here so you can see what it's like when you open them, unbox them. He's very kindly lent them to me before he's had a chance to use them, so thank you very much, Robert. And lastly, this isn't a paid promotion. We're not being given these items or being sponsored to do this video. This is my own item along with the solar panels which we bought about 9 months ago. I'll go into why we bought that, and as I said, this is one of my friends. He bought these, and again I'll explain what his thinking is behind buying these items, and what he intends to use them for. So if you're not technical minded, I just want to quickly talk about watt hours, kilowatt hours and kilowatts. So kilowatts is how much power you're using in one go or instantaneously. So a kettle will use about 2 kilowatts, and low powered devices like phones can be using 20, 50, 70 watts. So a kilowatt is 1,000 watts. In terms of storage capacity of a battery, this is in watt hours. Now 1,000 watt hours means it will run a 1 kilowatt device for 1 hour. So I hope that makes sense. So then by doing a bit of basic maths, a 1 kilowatt hour battery will run a 100 watt device for 10 hours. So I hope that makes sense. I will be sort of explaining this in a bit more depth in a future video, just by looking at how many watt hours the battery capacity is and what devices you're running and how many watts they consume. You should be able to work out what sort of size battery you need. So before getting into the unboxing, I want to just talk to you about the specifications of the different models. I've got this written down here, so excuse me for looking down. So the Delta Mini, I don't believe it's on sale anymore. It's not a current model as such, but you can still buy it from plenty of retailers. This is an 882 watt hour battery. So it has an output of 800 watts nominal with up to 1.4 kilowatts of surge. So that's powering a device consistently for up to 800 watts with small spikes in load of 1.4 kilowatts. So if you're looking to power devices, you don't want to be putting more than 800 watts consistent load on it. The solar panels are 160 watts power under standard test conditions. So in good sunny conditions, you're going to charge this in around 5.5 hours. So I don't think it's really feasible to think you're always going to power it off the solar panels, but when we've been doing things like outdoor shows, stick the solar panels out and it actually just extends the life of the battery on sunny days considerably. So the EcoFlow Delta 2, it's a 1 kilowatt hour battery, or 1024 watt hours to be exact. This can do 1.8 kilowatts consistently with up to 2.7 kilowatts surge. So this is pretty much with one plug-in, it will do things like a kettle, and it can do you know, things like washing machines, dishwashers, pretty much anything that you'll plug into your mains. Obviously if you're plugging in multiple items, you need to be careful how much you're loading it up, but yeah, quite a significant jump in terms of power. And then the additional battery adds another 1024 watt hours of battery storage, so you can couple this to up to 2 of these, making the total power around 3 kilowatt hours. And then finally, to use with all these devices, you have the EcoFlow app. We'll go into the app in a little bit more detail in a bit, but it can do things like you can control the batteries in various ways and monitor them. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick unboxing of these. So when you open it up, get this nice packaging. So I'll put these to one side, then we can have a look at what comes in the box. So I'm going to do this in one tip. Okay, so again, nicely well packaged. So when you get these, yeah, they're very well packaged. So all you get in the box really is the instructions, the battery itself, so you can see the difference in size if you put those next to each other between the EcoFlow Delta Mini and the EcoFlow Delta 2. That obviously reflects the additional capacity and the additional size of the inverter for the output. So I'm just going to show you the connections. I hate taking the stickers off, sorry Robert. So inside here you get the 12 volt input, so you can actually charge the battery from a 12 volt input on a car or yeah, any kind of this kind of cigarette lighter adapter. Yeah, so there's a bespoke connection which plugs into the input side of the unit here. Some other connections there, and then you get the 240 volt 3-pin plug adapter, which again can be used to charge the battery from your mains. So yeah, all fairly simple, all fairly straightforward. This 12 volt connector is the same connector that you use for the solar panels as well, so you can plug the solar panels into the same port. Again, all the adapters come with the kit with the solar panels, and you can power either of these devices. This one would obviously take a little bit longer, around 20% longer to charge than the 5.5 hours that the Delta Mini takes. So lastly, I'm going to unbox the Smart Extra Battery. So again, a whole bunch of instructions. I'll put those to one side out the rain. So he's opened this one at the bottom for me already. So this one should come out the right way up. That's correct. So again, nicely packaged. So I'm just going to pause the video while it's raining. Here's a handy tip for recycling plastic bags. You're doing a filming setup and it starts raining. You can protect your camera with your Asda bag.
1 hour later.
So we bought our Delta Mini purely because we'd We did a number of shows last year, a couple of local shows which were sort of showcasing possible green technologies, having a chat to people in the local community. And there was one part which was part of Shropshire Green Week, which was great. Hopefully you're seeing some B-roll of that now. So it was really good to do those shows. But one of the things we wanted to do, we had a couple of banners, but we wanted a TV as well, showing our YouTube videos, our size, the output of the device I needed, and the capacity of the device I needed on running a TV for around 5 or 6 hours. That was why we bought ours. We did the shows, had the TV on display, and had the solar panels out where we could as well, just to showcase the sort of a small scale version of the things that we're starting to install in terms of home battery storage and solar PV on the roof. Another possible option for people who are using petrol generators, these come in all sorts of sizes. So if you use a petrol generator, which are usually big, smelly, horrible devices, dirty, you could pick the right size battery system to suit what you're doing and get rid of your petrol generator altogether. And there are a whole range of devices that you can get with bigger outputs and bigger storage capacities. So as long as you select that device to suit your needs, you should be easy on for getting rid of your petrol generator, or at least keep that on standby. So if you're doing anything like camping or caravanning and you need extra battery storage capacity, these are a great solution. If you do shows and you need some energy to run lights, you know, maybe have a trade stand, you do car boots, again, these would be a better solution than a petrol generator, unless you're using huge amounts of power. So just go into the app. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, so you can monitor how much power is going in and out of the unit on each individual outlet. Obviously you do get a display on the unit itself, but looking on the app is really handy. It's super easy to connect up, and when you register you get your extended warranties as well, which are available on the different devices. Make sure you read the terms and conditions. You can also remotely turn on your AC and DC ports. You can control how much of the capacity you want to use in your battery. So you might sort of only let it fall down to 20% and only let it charge up to 80% to try and extend the life of that battery system. You can change the charging speeds of the battery, so you can charge it faster or again more slowly. You can control how much the car charger takes, because some cigarette charger type outlets are limited to a certain amount of amps. You can control how much it charges at, so you don't overload that 12 volt outlet and blow the fuse in it. You can also control how long it waits before it times out and shuts down and goes to sleep, saving energy. Just touching on that, if you do leave the device on overnight, it'll use about 10% of its energy running itself. So I would recommend trying to switch it off at night, unless you're purposely trying to discharge the battery for storage reasons. I know I haven't read up on the Delta 2, but on the Delta Mini, they do recommend charging it up to 60% every few months and not letting it drop below 30% for storing. So yeah, make sure you read up on how it should be stored if you're using it infrequently, or it's going to be left unused for a few months, you know, if you're using it say in the summer and not in the winter. You can monitor the temperature of the unit as well, in either degrees C or Fahrenheit. So you can make sure that, you know, you're not pushing it too hard and getting everything hot and shortening the life of the unit. Just a side note on the units getting hot, I have spoken to a few people in the industry, and there's a whole bunch of these types of devices. One of the reasons I went for the EcoFlow, and separately Robert went for the EcoFlow systems, was because speaking to experts in the industry, they think this is one of the better battery systems available, They've had the thermal imaging cameras on these while they're running and while they're being pushed hard, and these devices tend to be thermally performing better. These are not the cheapest systems available, and you can buy dirt cheap things off Amazon. It's probably worth investing in something that's better quality in the long term. So I hope that was useful. If it was, make sure you give us a cheeky thumbs up on that like button, subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications of our future videos. If you are thinking of signing up with a new electricity supplier, take a look at Octopus. They've got loads of great tariffs for people with solar panels, EVs, people who want to be more green and buy their energy from a green supplier, and they have cheap tariffs for night rates. Make sure you check out our other social media. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching.